Happy to be out here with all of you. This is an important meeting that I've been wanting to have for quite some time now. We have had an issue with regard to stop and frisk and the way the police works to purportedly keep our community safe. And I have said, and you know, we want to have a town hall meeting, and I really want to hear what people have to say. But I don't think it's any secret what my views are about stop and frisk. I think that, and I've said this many times, when you read about almost 700,000 people being stopped and frisked, almost all of whom have done absolutely nothing wrong, you expect to read about that in some third world dictatorship.
That's right.
Not in America, and certainly not here in New York City. And when you add to the fact that, the fact that almost everyone who's stopped and frisked is African American or Latino.
That's right.
You cannot deny that there is some racial profiling going on.
It would be great to have an elected commissioner that we could have gotten out of office 8 years ago. So I would say this, on April 10th, Mr. Jackson goes back to court on these SB charges. But we've asked the district attorney's office to commence an investigation to the police officers' conduct. And in fact, and if there's criminal behavior, we're asking them to bring charges on the police officers that did this to this young man. And we're asking you to join us, as Mr. Bell did a couple of weeks ago, and support this young person who they're trying to railroad, but with the odds that we have on the ground, that's not going to happen. And with the videotape that we have, they can't say that this young man was obstructing governmental administration or resisting 8 officers from arresting him. So I would say, thank you for coming out and caring enough about our community to stop what happened to this young man from happening to any other young woman or young man in our community. Thank you very much.
First thing that comes in mind is, as the old folks used to say, we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm the new pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church, and Ebenezer Baptist Church historically has been a social justice venue here in Queens under the Reverend Dr. Timothy B. Mitchell. But when I think about what's going on with this stop and frisk, I realize that I've been living with that my entire life. As an African-American male, it's a blessing if you haven't been stopped. I grew up in South Jamaica, 40 Projects on 7th Street, and we were always stopped. We were always frisked, and it is just plain harassment. And the police department has become an occupying force in our community. And there's only certain things we can do. In South Jamaica, we say, don't get mad, get... Oh, y'all know what I'm talking about. And there's a right way to get even, and there's a wrong way to get even. And my younger brothers and sisters must know the right way is calling your attorney, calling your ministers, calling the National Action Network, NAACP, and we're going to hold our elected officials accountable, and any police officer that does what they have done should be brought up on criminal charges.
So if the police stop you, the first thing you have to remember is to try to be polite, even though you may not feel like being polite, you may be very angry at that point, but try to be polite. Always carry identification with you, because that can be the difference between being arrested and having to go through the system, go through central bookings, be in custody overnight potentially, or getting something called a desk appearance ticket and being released from the precinct. So you always want to have ID with you. You should definitely give them your correct name and address, never give a fake name. But don't answer any questions further than that. Do not try to explain away the situation. It doesn't work. Ask for a lawyer and wait until you have that lawyer. There's nothing that you can say without a lawyer that you can't say a little further down the line once you get a lawyer.
The bottom line is this. We have to work together. Turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, we have to work together. Turn to your other neighbor and say, neighbor, we have to work